Hi friends, welcome to a Lovely Yarn podcast. My name is Amber and this is episode 66, I believe, and it's a bit of a special episode, so I'm just gonna jump right in and we're gonna hope for the best. So if you were following along with my Vlogmas episodes, you will have known that I stopped vlogging on day 15 of December because we have had the, as one of my friends calls it, the creeping crud here in our home since Thanksgiving. And I just happened to get a really bad prolonged case of it. And I was trying to push through filming every day for Vlogmas. And I just got to the point where I pretty much crashed and I could not go any further. And that happened this past Saturday, actually. So today is December 21st. It's Thursday. And this past Saturday, I just crashed. And so I made the hard decision, because I typically really enjoy Vlogmas, but I made the hard decision to stop with my vlogs because they were adding an unnecessary amount of pressure on me and I wasn't resting enough. So I'm still not feeling well, which is why I said, look, we're going to give this a go. I'm sitting here with this is a tea made with lemon, honey, like chopped minced ginger, cinnamon, and then I added in some thyme and some lime juice because I just read that that is also good for sinus problems, which is what my problem is now. So this is going to be weird for me because some of what I'm going to be talking about, if you've watched my vlogs, you've heard a little bit about. It's not all going to be redundant, but there is going to be some things that you've probably already heard if you were watching my vlogs. But I also realize just by the amount of views I get on my regular episodes versus my Vlogmas episodes, I know that there are a lot more people that watch my regular episodes than my Vlogmas episodes. But yeah, so just to give a little update, I'm still not feeling back to myself. I feel like I'm making very slow improvements. Some days I'm like, am I improving at all? But I think I am. I know that I probably don't look like I'm sick to see me, but it's just all this sinus, like way inside my head sinus stuff. And I've been to the doctor twice and we're working on treating it on a second stronger antibiotic, but I'm honestly thinking it's just all viral and like an inflammatory thing, and I don't even know that the antibiotic is needed. So I'm taking lots of probiotic and doing other natural supplements, vitamins, all that kind of stuff to try to boost my immune system. It's just been one of those months, and we all get them from time to time, right? Nobody wants to be sick at Christmas, but it happens. It happens sometimes. And we haven't had a Christmas month like this for probably, I think maybe 7 years ago. I remember being really ill at Christmas and having to cancel Christmas dinner and all that. But other than that, I mean, we've done pretty good over the years. So, anyway, that is what's going on. So I did post on my community tab on YouTube that I was not going to be filming Vlogmas episodes anymore. And I also posted on my stories on Instagram, but I had some people reaching out in concern. So I'm assuming not everyone saw those posts. So that's where I've been. I just decided not to film anymore, which, it was funny. The day after I decided that, it snowed and it was so magical looking, and I was like, oh, I really want to film this, but then I'm like, no, Amber, you made this decision. The funny thing is that I knew, it's not funny, like I normally, like it was not helpful to be putting that pressure on myself to be filming. And it wasn't that I necessarily did things different every day. Because this December, we haven't hardly gone anywhere, especially me, because I've been sick. I've missed out on several Christmas events, but But just the whole, setting up the camera, moving the camera, getting the different angles. There's a lot of work that goes into vlogging. So yeah, anyway, okay, let's move on from that. But that is where I have been if you've been wondering and you didn't see my post. So on today's episode, I want to talk about a couple of my Advent knits that I'm doing. One of them you guys have not even seen, even if you have been watching my vlogs, because I talked about it, but I hadn't started it at the time. I also want to talk about a collaboration that I'm doing with with Jimmy Bean's Wool. And then I want to talk about a couple of different ideas that I've come up with this month. Yeah, so let's just get started. I have some finished objects, but I'm not showing them because they're Christmas gifts. So that's just that. I'm not even going to worry about it. I've been frantically knitting on some things. I finished them up within the last couple of days. They're not being shown because I don't know who watches these episodes, and honestly, they've already been wrapped. So I'm not going to pressure myself on that one, and it doesn't matter, right? So yeah, anyway, let me just show you guys. So I had I had done an Advent yarn kit, like calendar type thing swap with Laura of the Back Porch Fiber Co. and Annie of Knits and Burl. And so we had swapped out yarn to do that. And then Jennifer of Brazos Fiber Works, which I'll show you her little emblem. This is the bag she sent me. She has a fiber, she does hand dyeing, and she has a company, and she reached out to me in October or November and asked if she could send me one of her Advent kits. And I was like, wow, yes, that's so exciting. I've never had like a proper Advent kit. So I've exchanged with people, but I never had one from like a yarn company, or a hand dyer. So she sent me one. So what I decided to do with that is, I did my scrappy episode and everything back in November, and then I had several patterns on there by Amba O'Brien, but Amba O'Brien went and released a new pattern after I filmed that episode, and it's called the Euphorbia shawl, and I saw it and I was like, that is what I'm knitting with my Advent calendar. So let me show you what I have so far. Hold on, I'm a little tangled up. I haven't worked on this for probably 5 days, maybe not that many, I don't know. I've been working on some other things, and I was trying to frantically finish up those gift knits, but let me show you. So this is knit, the Euphorbia shawl is knit from end to end, so it's knit sideways, which is nice because you increase and then you get to the widest point, and then you just knit the widest point until you get to the decreases, and then you decrease. So I've been at the widest point for a while, so this is all the more stitches. I don't know how many, is that like 120? Somewhere between 115 and 120 something maybe. So it's not like a top-down shawl or a shawl that any shawl, like a triangle. It's not like a triangular or crescent-shaped shawl where you have a massive amount of stitches on your needles. It's not like that at all. So the only yarn I have, okay, so this green here, this last one I used, it is not from Jennifer's Advent kit. That was actually just some stash that I had, and I added that in. But what I'm doing is I'm holding the mini skeins double with a silk mohair, just a plain undyed silk mohair. And if you would choose to knit this pattern, here, let me show you the front. This is the front. So it has like, you do central decreases to get that little bump or ridge along the middle. But if I were to knit this again, and if you're going to knit this, be very careful in the beginning. This is an I-cord edging, and I was pulling it too tight. So I don't know if you can see, but I have like, it's tight along the edges, and the fabric in here is loose. I'm pretty sure that's going to block out. But as I went on, I just made sure that my I-cord, I wasn't pulling my I-cord stitches super tight. So, and I think there's also other ways to kind of work around that by adding extra stitches. I didn't look into that. I just decided to do it that way. So what am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm only nine rows in of 24 because it's written for a 24 skein mini set. Yeah, so this is fun. It's super easy knitting. I mean, I memorized the pattern a long time ago. And you just count your little ridge bumps to know how much, to know when you should switch to the next color. And you wouldn't even have to do that. If you didn't want all the stripes to be the same width, you can make them as thin or as wide as you want, because once you are at your maximum increase, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. So that's been a very nice, enjoyable knit because, again, it requires no thinking at all. I suppose that I should mention what I'm wearing around my neck. So I've been cold today, and normally I'm not cold, so I don't know what's going on with me. But this is a Sophie scarf that I made, and I've shared about this on a prior episode. But this is knit in a Ruby and Roses yarn, held double. It was a fingering weight held double. I forget the name of the color. Yeah, no, it completely escapes my mind. But I put it on today because I thought it was a little bit festive because it's red, and I was looking a little bland. Whenever I'm sick, my skin suffers. Do you guys experience that? Does anyone else? Like, I break out. My lips get really chapped. I don't think you can tell, but like they get chapped and they get darker in color, like pink. And I don't know that the camera's picking that up, but when I look in the mirror, it almost looks like I have tinted lip balm on, but it's just that they're chapped and they like burn. So I felt a little pale. I thought I'm going to put on a bright little festive scarf and, bring some color into my life. But anyway, I try to remember to tell you guys what I'm wearing, and then sometimes I forget. This is just a sweater that I found at a thrift store. Actually, my daughter found it and bought it, and I ended up taking it and wearing it more than hers. So she gave it to me. And I want to show you my next Advent project, which is the one that I talked about during Vlogmas, but I hadn't started. And this is a new pattern also. This pattern is made specifically for a yarn Advent calendar, DK weight, a 12-day calendar. However, I will show you how I'm adjusting that to work with my finger weight scraps. So this is let me show you a picture of it. This is by Judy of the Autumn Acorn, and this is called the Yarn Candy Scarf. Now this is a crocheting pattern. So I also crochet. I crocheted before I knitted. I prefer to knit, but every now and then crocheting just feels so good because it's fast. And it is, in fact, I haven't crocheted. I don't think I've crocheted for a while. I think my last crochet project was my Dahlia Scrapgan, which I'm pretty sure I did last. Maybe I did that last Vlogmas. I feel like I was working on that last Vlogmas, or maybe during my winter vlogs. I did a couple of winter vlogs. But I just don't crochet very often because I prefer the look of knit. But last week, no, I think it was this weekend actually. It wasn't even last week. I just was like, I need something. I was just feeling so discouraged because I had been sick for 3 weeks and just wasn't feeling any better. So I got out my big bag of yarn mini scraps, which I'm going to talk to you about something with that here in a bit. And I started putting together colors for this scarf. And so let me show you what I have so far. This is the most recent one that I did. I just actually did this stripe this morning, and I'll show you what I have. Yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know if I started this Sunday. Today is Thursday. That seems about right. But again, I'm just like, wow, mind blown at how fast crochet is compared to knitting. If I would have been knitting this. Anyway, so what I did is I'm using complementary colors, and then I'm holding it double if it's fingering weight. So like here for my purple, I used 2 purple fingering weight yarns that were complementary to each other, and I use those to crochet together. Same with each section that I went through. So it gives a little bit of a marled look, but not really, because it's not like so defined that there's 2 yarns. It almost could pass for it being like just 1 yarn. As you can see, there are some bobbles. I always have a tough time with bobbles because, yeah, like these bobbles are popping back through. And then these bobbles that I did this morning are really nice and defined. And what I ended up doing, it's been a while since I did bobbles, but just a little tip. After you make your bobble, when you go into your next stitch to do your double crochet, pull that double crochet tight. And it just kind of like cinches in the sides of that bobble, and it makes them pop out so that they're not pushing back in. If you've made bobbles before, then you probably understand what I'm saying. But yes, this, oh my gosh, I love it. It is like one of those things that is just bringing me joy right now because it's so colorful. And I have to say, I wear a lot of neutrals in my wardrobe. Like that is what my wardrobe mostly consists of. A lot of neutral colors or like subdued colors. If I do wear color, it's usually like mustard yellow, or I'll wear navy, which does not even really count as a color. I mean, it's a color, but it's not bright. I do wear some coral sometime, but every winter I just crave color because it's so gray where I live. And this, I think that's why this is just sparking so much joy in my heart, because it is just all these beautiful colors, and I'm choosing the colors and the order that I put them in and how wide I make the panels. You know, so it's just been just such a joy, and I feel like this is going to be a really nice scarf to wrap up in when I go outside for my walks. Okay, could you guys hear Lily yelling for me in the background? She just got home from cleaning. She cleans a house for some money. But anyway, she just got back and she wanted to tell me something. So yes, this, okay, I'm using a size K crochet hook, which is what the pattern calls for. And oh yes, this pattern is actually free through the month of December. Judy is being very generous and offering it for free during the month of December. So yeah, if you guys are interested in a nice, easy, fun crochet pattern where you can really play on different colors, this would probably be a good one. So that is all I have with that. But that leads me into my next thing that I want to talk about. Sorry, I'm having in and out here through the door. I feel so distracted. You guys are just going to have to take me as I am today. This is not professional. No. While we're on the topic of mini skeins and advent yarns and all of that, I want to show you something, and I'm sure that I'm not the first one to think of this, but it's something that I have thought about in as I was trying to figure out color, like how I wanted to coordinate my colors for the scarf and also for my euphorbia shawl. But I ended up going through my mini skein stash and organizing it, and I have it in this big heavy canvas tote bag. And what I ended up doing was, hold on, I'm gonna pause because I have a bunch of yarn in Ziploc baggies and it's gonna make a lot of noise. So hold on 1 second. Okay, so I went through and I organized all my mini skeins by color family. So like these are my pinks, and I had a lot of pinks. I like pink, apparently. I like pink yarn. So these are the more pastel-y, subdued pinks. These are the brighter pinks because I'm definitely more of a pastel pink kind of girl. I've got my lots of purples in here. This is my blue bag. And then teals. We've got green, which as you can see, I don't have a ton of green yarn. Yellows and oranges. Again, the funny thing is I actually really like yellow, and I don't know why I don't buy yellow, or maybe when I buy it I use it. I don't know, because I don't really have a lot of yellow. But I like more like pastel yellows rather than bright yellows. So yeah, yellows. These are more just like neutral. I wasn't sure where to put them, so I just stuck them all together. And then I've got like some reds, some shades of red here. And then a really tiny corally peachy bag as well. I found that this worked really well in helping me to just know what I have, and then when I'm using it in a project. And the reason I actually now that I think about it, the reason I did this is because I wanted to knit the Stitch in Time blanket by Kay Jones. And it is a blanket that is knit in 9x9 mitered squares, and then all of those squares are put together with like a white border in between them and surrounding them. And I'll put a picture up here so that you can see what I'm talking about. And I thought, I want to really work on my color management. So to do that, I want to feel somewhat organized, because up until this point, I literally have just had bags, like the tote bags, little tote bags with just mini skeins thrown in it. And it just felt so unorganized. And when my mind feels unorganized and cluttered, I don't feel creative. It's not that I don't feel creative. I have a harder time expressing the creativity and using what I have, because it's not all in front of me in an organized fashion. So this has been really helpful. It's been helpful with this, and it's going to be helpful with whatever other mini skein projects I decide to do in the future. So I'm really glad I took the time to do that. It really was actually kind of fun and enjoyable, and I didn't think of it as a chore at all. I really enjoyed it. So maybe that's something that you guys want to do. I just used the Ziploc baggies because I had them. I could see through them. It was easier for me to see. But you know, if you're not into the plastics, you could just maybe sew up some little really easily made like drawstring bags from fabric and throw them in there. I mean, that would be an option. But I like this because I can see what I'm working with. Again, I like to see. That's why I have my yarn. Almost all of my yarn stash is out so that I can see it. If I can't see it, I'm not going to be as creative with it. So just a little tip. Again, I'm sure I'm not the first person to think to do this, but it was just something that came to my mind, and I thought I would share with you guys. Okay, so now I want to talk about something that I've been really excited about, and I talked about this a bit in one of my Vlogmas episodes. So as you guys have known, I have not been able to receive monetization for my channel here on YouTube. I've tried multiple times over the last several years, and I've never been able to figure out why, and I've never been approved to be monetized. And it's not that I do this for the money, but it is a lot of work. So it wouldn't be like a horrible thing to have some financial reimbursement for it. So I was kind of like, well, it's fine. I've tried and tried and tried, and I've pretty much just like been, oh well, I give up. So for whatever reason, I'm not meant to be monetized. It's okay. I know that there are people who don't prefer commercials. Anyway, I don't prefer commercials, but I have to be honest, the majority of podcasts I watch do have commercial interruptions, and I just kind of have gotten used to it. And because I'm also a podcaster, I realize that it's okay, because they're getting, I know how much hard work it is. So if they're making some sort of financial benefit from me having to watch a little commercial, then I'm perfectly fine with that. I know that there are some people who do not like commercials at all. I prefer not to have them, but I prefer not to have to watch them, but also it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Having said that, there are other ways for podcasters to reap some sort of benefit other than just the benefit of having a community, which is a big thing for me. I really enjoy podcasting because I've connected with a lot of you guys, and so, like, even more so in my daily vlogs, which was one of the hardest things about not finishing that, is because I really looked forward to reading your comments, and because a lot of the same people commented over and over, I felt like I was getting to know people, and I really liked that. However, I have received over mostly the last year, as my channel has grown, I have received multiple collaboration offers, and I have not felt comfortable with any of them. I have received collaboration offers from several different jewelry companies. I've received from eyeglass companies. I have received from, I think like some sort of forever flower preservation company, diamond art, like Magic Bra keeps reaching out to me. I ignore all of these because they do not fit my channel, and I just want to be an authentic person, and so I am not going to, at least at this point, I don't have any plans in advertising for instance, bras or eyeglasses. Just because I wear bras and eyeglasses doesn't mean that I feel it's a good fit for my podcast. So I just ignore these. However, in October, I received a direct message on Instagram from Jimmy Beans Wool asking me to do a bit of a collaboration with them. And I literally thought it was a scam. I thought it was a scam because I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. I've been like, if a yarn company would reach out to me, that is the kind of collaboration that I would be willing to do, because that would be a perfect fit for my channel, because I have a podcast that talks about yarn and knitting and crocheting. So I thought, this is a scam. Their account has been hacked. So I was very skeptical, and I was hesitant, but I did some communication, verified some stuff, and it ended up that it really was Jimmy Beans Wool, and they really were reaching out to me to kind of work with me a little bit. So that was super, super exciting. Now what they reached out to me about was their annual blanket club. They have various clubs. They have a shawl club, they have an accessory club. I think they have a Madelinetosh club where you actually get a different skein of Madelinetosh to do whatever you want with it. It doesn't have like a pattern that's connected to it, I believe. But they do this blanket club every year as well. And they reached out specifically to me regarding their blanket club for the year 2024, which is fast approaching us. Anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect fit. I love Madelinetosh yarn. It's, a small woman founded company, Jimmy Beans Wool is, and I respect what they're doing. And so it just felt like a good fit. So I agreed to it very excitedly, and they sent me 12 skeins of Madelinetosh, and they actually they're using an exclusive not only colorways but also exclusive yarn for their 2024 blanket club, and it is Madelinetosh blanket. It's 100% superwool. It is superwool, right? It's 100% superwash wool, merino wool, and it is a 5-ply, which makes it really extra squishy and lovely. From what I was kind of gathering, the colorways are also exclusive to the blanket club, and they're not within the core colors that Madelinetosh normally produces. So they sent me my yarn. Oh, did I show it in its entirety? Now there are two different color themes to choose from. This is the romantic. This is the one I chose. They let me choose whichever one I wanted. And the other one is playful. And I have to say, it was a hard choice because I love the yarns. I love the colors in both. But then I ended up going with this one. But it was hard. It was a hard decision to make. They sent this to me for free. 12 skeins of yarn. Okay, so thank you, Jimmy Beans Wool. I love it. I am so excited. All right, so this year's pattern is like a patchwork pattern, and it is by Lena Scaberson. I'm going to be putting pictures up here so you can see. There's a crochet version and there's also a knitted version. I chose to do the knitted version. They told me I could pick whichever one I wanted, and because I preferred to knit, I decided to do the knitted version. With your subscription, you get 1 skein of the Madelinetosh blanket yarn per month, and then you also get instructions to complete that section of the blanket. Like I said, it's a patchwork blanket, so you'll be doing a different patchwork section a month. You also get access to an online community, video tutorials online, and then there's a quarterly check-in with the designer of the blanket. I guess that's if you have any questions or concerns or need some guidance in anything. And another thing is, I know this is so sad, but I know there are people, because I have a friend in real life that has a wool allergy and she cannot work with wool. She breaks out. So if that unfortunately is you, they have an allergy friendly option, which is Barocco Comfort yarn. So as I said, there's 2 different colorway themes that you can work with, and I'll have either put that up now or I already have put that up, as well as pictures of the crocheted version versus the knitted version. You can pay per month for this, or you can pay one time and they send you however way you pay, you get your yarn and your instructions each month. So it sounds like a nice little treat. But yes, thank you so much, Jimmy Beans Wool, for reaching out to me. I'm actually going to be casting this on in January. I'm super excited. It's not that I needed another blanket kit, right? Because I had just purchased 2 this fall. But I could not pass up this offer, and the pattern is gorgeous. So, and oh my gosh, the yarn, guys. Don't zoom in on me, camera. Look at that yarn. So pretty. So I'm really excited about this. So if you want to join me in knitting this patchwork blanket or crocheting it, I will put a link down below to Jimmy Beans Wool, their website, where you can sign up for the club. Okay, 2 more things to talk about, and then I'm going to be wrapping this up. The first one is, so again, in my vlogs, I'm talking about with my viewers how I'm frantically working on these last minute knits. I went into the month of December thinking that I was pretty well set up because I had done some gift knitting already. And I thought, okay, I'm doing good. And then I got sick and I didn't have a lot of extra energy. And so I wasn't knitting as much as I normally do. And so I had mentioned something about I want this year, going into 2024, I want to knit 1 gift knit per month. So I would like to look at the year ahead, think of the people that I knit for Christmas, pick out patterns that I think would be suitable for them, patterns that I think they would like. And none of these are going to be like sweaters. I don't knit sweaters for other people, except my daughter. I just don't knit sweaters for other people. But think of the patterns that I would like to gift knit. And kind of have you guys seen the Make 9 boards? I would like to do something on Canva, and I haven't figured out the logistics of this yet. And you wouldn't even have to do that. You could just scratch it down on some paper. But just January, I'm going to knit this pattern for this person. February, I'm going to knit this pattern for this person, and do that for each month of the year. Now, even if this doesn't completely come to fruition and I don't get the whole way through each pattern, I'm still going to be better off than if I've waited until November to start my gift knitting. And I had shared this on one of my vlogs, and multiple people said, well, wouldn't it be fun to do this as a very laid back knit along? And it's not like a prize knit along, it's just like let's use this hashtag and come up with just share, and because it is kind of fun to see what other people are gift knitting, because then you always get more ideas. Most people do gift knit smaller items and more doable items, so I think it would be really fun to kind of follow along with each other all year long on Instagram, and to just keep each other, going and not accountable. This isn't about being accountable or being stressed out or pressured. It's just about kind of like enjoying the process, knowing that doing this now will save some stress and potential freaking out in the future. So if you would like to join along with me, I just realized I should have come up with a hashtag before I started filming. So this is what I'm going to do. While I'm editing this video, I'm going to think of a hashtag for this, and I'm going to put it on the screen, and I'm also going to put it down in the video description where you'll find the information for everything else I've talked about on this episode. And then if you would like to participate in a year-long gift knit-along, make-along, maybe I'll call it a make-along. I mean, I'll probably be mostly knitting, but if you want to crochet or sew or embroider, that's also, why don't we do it a make-along? I'll come up with a hashtag, you guys can use it, and we can kind of just tag those posts with that hashtag and follow along with each other and get inspiration from each other. How does that work? Okay, and now, last but not least, I am going to announce the winner of the Ranunculus knit along that we did this fall. It ran through November 23rd, was it? Or the end of November? I can't even remember now. And then I got sick, and then I was vlogging, and I dropped the ball on pulling the name. I knew it didn't really matter. I knew I would get to it eventually. So, I want to announce that, and let me get in my notes here. I'm going to put a picture of the winning entry up here on the screen. And so this was the Fall into Ranunculus Knit Along 2023. That was the hashtag that was used. So those of you who had sent me your pictures through my email because you didn't have Instagram or you had private accounts, what I ended up doing is my daughter showed me how to make a second Instagram account. So I just made like a Lovely Yarn Instagram account that I'm not going to use. And I posted those pictures there because I didn't want to put them on my main Instagram account and then have to go back and delete all those. So I posted those pictures there with the hashtag, so they got thrown into the whole Instagram pot as well when the winner was picked. So let me just get to it. The winner of the Ranunculus Knit Along is Maier. That's the Instagram name. I'll put it here. I'll put the picture here. And the name on the Instagram account was Shroyer Maier. And I'm probably pronouncing your last name wrong. I'm sorry. I may be pronouncing the entire name wrong. I'm sorry. But yes, so Lee, you are the winner. So if you could please send me your mailing address, my email is down below in the video description. I will get your package mailed out to you. Probably not before Christmas because it's already December 21st. And I don't know that I'll be going to the post office before then. But if not, definitely next week. I will get that mailed out to you. Lots of goodies. Yarn, project bag, actually multiple skeins of yarn, a couple other things that I just picked up and thought would be nice to include in the giveaway. So yeah, go ahead and reach out to me, Lee. Send me your mailing address and I will get that sent out to you. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today. I'm going to go. I'm so glad that my voice held out, and thank you for joining me. I pray that you have a wonderful December and a wonderful Christmas, because we're only literally days away from Christmas, which is just astounding to me. But that is life, isn't it? It just flies by. Whether you are well or unwell, because I know a lot of you are unwell, as I am, whatever these little bugs that are going around right now, They are going around with a vengeance, and but it's temporary, right? It's a season. It will pass. And regardless, I just hope that you have a warm, beautiful, joy-filled, peace-filled Christmas and the rest of the month of December. And today is the winter solstice. It's the shortest amount of daylight for the year for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. So the days are only going to get longer, and that is a reason for me to celebrate. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I wish many blessings to you and yours. Have a wonderful Christmas. Bye.